Do you want to feel some mid-90s nostalgia? Then you're in for a treat, as we take a look at PlayStation Pix 96. Released alongside the latest North American models of the PlayStation in 1996, this pack-in disc was the gateway for many new PS1 players, introducing them to a handful of recent releases at the time, as we saw with that intro video. This disc contains 12 playable demos, as well as video previews and/or rolling demos for each game listed. This disc is packed with things to do, so let's not waste any more time and check out each demo here. Let's start with Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. After the destruction of the first Death Star, Darth Vader has begun a new project for the Empire, while the Rebels have been hearing rumors about ghost ships attacking their patrols. This game leans heavily on pre-rendered scenes, with most of the game being split into two types of gameplay: rail shoot sequences and flying sequences. Sounds pretty neat, but I couldn't get the gameplay to render under my emulation software. Sorry. Reviews on release were somewhat mixed, with the official scores, cutscenes and graphics being praised, but the controls, overall difficulty and gameplay depth being disliked. Try out one of the flying missions in the demo.
Destroy the Alliance.
Repeat your message, Corellia.
Control, we haven't time. They're boarding us.
Okay, kid. Stay sharp. Watch your scanners for Imperial vessels.
Too late, they've already seen us.
I'm picking up a Womprat's nest of TIE fighters at 042 Mark 3. They're headed our way.
Copy that. Switch to attack mode.
Here, 229 Mark 4.
Let's see the demo for Disruptor. This is a first-person shooter involving a company called Lightstormer Corp, whose recruits who are given psionic implants to aid in their missions. They'll need it too, as cryopirates have commandeered a space station in Jupiter's orbit, and one of Neptune's moons has been overrun by hostile aliens. Gameplay is similar to many first-person shooters at the time, but along with unique alien weaponry, the player also has access to various psionic powers, such as being able to shock an enemy and heal or shield the player. Reviews at release were decent. Critics praised the varied weapons, the challenging gameplay, and the variety of mission objectives. The game was often favourably compared to games like Doom and Alien Trilogy. Despite how well the game was received, the game did not sell enough copies for the publisher to consider it a commercial success. The demo has one sample mission to play, as well as a few rolling demos of other missions. Next is the demo for Formula 1. The first game in Psygnosis' Formula 1 series for the console, this game is a racing simulation, based on the official 1995 Formula 1 World Championship. Having been developed at the end of the season, this game as such features all the driver substitutions, official starting grids for each race, and other events, such as the SimTech team pulling out of the season after the Monaco Grand Prix. There are two modes, Arcade and Grand Prix. Winning every race in the Grand Prix mode will unlock a hidden track to race on. The game also includes commentary done by Murray Walker in the English version. Multiplayer is only possible via the link cable. Reviews at release were very positive, with many critics commenting on the realistic handling and simulation making the game ideal for the hardcore racing fan. The demo lets you choose any driver for a quick race on the Nürburgring circuit. get ready for an action puzzle game in the demo for Blast Chamber. In this game, the player must make their way through 40 different cube-shaped chambers. To move on to the next chamber, the player must collect a crystal orb and drop it in a designated area before the timer runs out. The player is capable of changing which direction gravity faces using certain points in the walls of the chamber, allowing them to walk on the walls. Each successive chamber contains harder obstacles to overcome. In single-player mode, the player merely has to get through each chamber. In multiplayer mode, the player can face off against 3 other players or bots in a race to see who can grab the crystal orb and place it in the designated area first. With each player capable of changing the gravity, this can become quite the hectic game mode. The game received okay reviews, with the originality being praised and the multiplayer being considered very fun. The demo gives you a couple of single-player and multiplayer chambers.
Set, go!
The next demo is for 2 Extreme, the sequel to 1 Extreme. This game is all about racing and extreme sports. Race on various world courses using rollerblades, skateboards, bikes and snowboards, with gameplay not unlike Road Rash. Gameplay involves racing down a lengthy street or snow course against several opponents. The course is littered with obstacles to avoid, and it's also possible to knock down or be knocked down by your opponents. Reviews at release were mixed. While some critics enjoyed the 2-player split-screen mode, others commented on the fact that the gameplay and graphics were barely changed from the predecessor. The demo has you race on the Japan course with a snowboard.
Let's rumble! Let's rumble! 250!
Those of you with arachnophobia might not like this next game. Spider by Boss Game Studios. It's a 2.5D platform game where you control a spider with cybernetic attachments that you use to overcome obstacles and deal with all the strange creatures that are infesting the locales. Quite an interesting premise. However, the game was released to mixed reviews as at the time people were more interested in fully 3D experiences instead of basic 2D platformers.
2 hours ago, Hezbollah terrorists disguised as military personnel infiltrated Fort Dix and stole missile launchers, howitzers, and APCs. Using hostages as human shields, they were able to deploy the stolen armor in Central Park.
Blow up some tanks in the demo for Black Dawn. This is a helicopter combat sim, putting you in the seat of a Mohawk combat copter. You'll be tasked with completing several missions, mostly involving blowing things up and rescuing hostages. While there are some comparisons to be made with Soviet Strike, a similar helicopter game released the same year, Black Dawn is more arcade-like in its gameplay. The game received positive reviews on release, with the only real complaint being the controls take some time getting used to. Try out one of the missions in this demo. Let's take a break and chill out with a demo for 10 Pin Alley. As you can guess, it's a bowling game. Gameplay is based on timing. Press the X button at the correct time to roll the perfect shot, which can take some practice. Players can select from a number of characters, each with their own goofy personality and charm. Reviews on release were positive, with many critics considering it a fun bowling party game you can play with friends. See how high you can get your score in this demo. Oh no, oh no. There's a demo for Bubsy 3D? Oh god, look at this. First, the entire game looks unfinished. Almost everything is lacking textures. The platforming amounts to jumping on floating grey box models that a 10-year-old could craft in Blender. The controls are the most awkward tank controls ever. The camera does this thing where it goes overhead when jumping, which gets disorienting fast. Bubsy talks a lot with the most annoying voice anyone could come up with, although thankfully the demo does not have his voice files properly implemented. He has an attack that doesn't work half the time, enemies shoot things at you and are stupidly accurate, and the bad controls and camera mean it's damn near impossible to avoid them, and every time you die you have to watch a 30-second cutscene of Bubsy getting his ass handed to him. The only tip I can come up with is to use Bubsy's glide jump instead of his regular jump, which will give you a few extra seconds in the air. Perhaps they put this in to try and compensate for the bad camera. Reviews? Well, surprisingly, the game only received mixed reviews on release. Yes, some critics actually liked this game, particularly the game's 2-player mode. Yes, Bubsy 3D has a multiplayer mode. Other than that, this game is one of the worst games on the console. A great game to make a video about, but an awful game to actually play. Get me out of here, the next demo can't come quickly enough. Oh, thank goodness, a hockey game. After the horrors of Bubsy 3D, I'll take anything. This is the demo for NHL FaceOff 97. It's your standard ice hockey game, using all the official rosters from the official NHL 1996 season. The game received positive reviews, with many critics enjoying the icon-based passing system. Personally, I quite like games that use sprites for the characters in a 3D environment. This demo gives you a quick 5-minute match. And here it is, the demo for Crash Bandicoot, the first game in Naughty Dog's original trilogy. This game follows the adventures of the orange marsupial as he escapes from the clutches of Dr. Cortex, and must rescue his girlfriend Tawna before she becomes one of the Doctor's experiments instead. This game is a 3D platformer, spanning across several levels involving smashing boxes and avoiding enemies and obstacles. One reason why this game works so well is the developers made sure that controlling Crash felt natural. Basically, they looked at games like Tomb Raider and said, no, let's avoid using tank controls. So with full 360-degree movement using just a D-pad, as well as automatic camera controls, this game is very easy to pick up and play. Reviews on release were positive, with many critics enjoying the game and comparing it to Super Mario 64. However, there were some complaints, mostly about the linearity of the levels, and the gameplay itself being mostly standard. The demo gives you one of the early levels to try. The last demo on this disc is for Grid Runner, another interesting game with an original idea. Gameplay involves running through a playfield comprised of corridors and teleporting pads, with the goal to capture a set amount of flags before your opponent does. If you capture a flag first, then your opponent becomes it. The player who is it cannot capture any more flags until they hunt down the other player, which will make them it instead. Players can shoot each other or lay down mines for them to step on. Players can also create bridges to cross gaps in the geometry, making for quite the unique and strategic game. The game received positive reviews, with many critics enjoying the hectic yet strategic nature of the game. The demo gives you a couple of matches to try. That's all the demos to be found on PlayStation Pix 96. A mixed bag of fun and frustrating games. An interesting introduction to the world of PlayStation for anyone who bought a console back then. And a nostalgic time capsule for the era. Thanks for checking this out with me. I hope it brought back some fun memories for you. Take a look at my channel for a playlist where I'd cover all the PlayStation Underground discs. And read this video's description for a link to my channel's Discord server. Join the channel as a member for more benefits, or just send me a like. Until next time, I'm the Advocate. I'll be seeing that irritating bobcat in my nightmares tonight.